longer intro than I thought. Okay, there we go.
I'm into it.
Tony Schiavone here at the Power. I can't do it. I can't do a good Schiavone.
I thought it was really him for a second.
Yeah,
Who's
wow.
best
Great.
at Sting?
Wow.
That was good. Get Jan.
Got Tony.
I gotta like pierce my ear, go full Schiavone. You know, I think Tony
It works.
Schiavone's.
Let Tony do his thing.
Yeah, it works. I think he pulls it off. He looks really
love
good with
Tony.
it. I'm Janet Choa. This is the Power Bombcast. The forbidden door is ajar, and we've slipped wrestling through all the way now. And let's talk about it, huh? We got Dan Reichert.
Hi, hello.
John, I don't know your last name. I'm not going to say it, but you may also know him as Eyepatch Wolf.
It's actually Eyepatch Wolf. Ireland's weird.
Oh,
One word.
is it?
Yep,
Right?
Yep.
Oh, Eyepatch Wolf then?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Got it. Jeff Grubb.
Howdy, I understand wrestling.
Yes. We got Big Daddy Cool himself, Jason A. Stryker.
Hi, I thought I understood wrestling. I no longer do.
And we got the bad boy of wrestling himself, Mike Minotti.
Hi, I want to wrestle Jeff Grubb.
No,
I mean, we could arrange that.
I would be a huge coward. That's gonna be. I'm gonna be a heel, so I have to be
You'll
cowardly,
like
right? That's how that
Flair,
works.
but only the
Yep.
parts where he like backs off.
yes,
to the
yes.
corner.
Never, ever.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
I
can do that
see
real well.
Grubb as a chicken shit heel. Do you?
No.
I don't know.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
So hey, we wind up watching a lot of wrestling, and there's been a lot of big wrestling events over the past 2 weeks, week and a half or so. So we thought, why not just brush the ring rust off? You know, there's a lot of gas in the tank still, and let's get back into the squared circle of podcasting. I just want to say this off at the very top: we're not going to be doing this every week. We may not even do this after every single major wrestling event. We're going to pull like a big dog, a tribal chief, the head of the table, and we'll roll back when we want to, you know? So maybe not even after SummerSlam, maybe not even after the Big Four, maybe there'll be like a small indie thing that speaks to us, and we'll assemble a crew together to talk about wrestling. But I just want to go around the circle real quick and just touch base of where you've been at with wrestling. Are you watching it every week? Are you following it? Is it still dominating majority of your watch time? Because God, if you were trying to watch all of the wrestling, you were watching wrestling like 7 days a week. Let's start with Jason. Jason, where are you at with wrestling?
I've been in and out for years now. Like, AEW definitely got me back in a big way. But then TBS said I can't leech off of my in-laws' subscription anymore, so I'm having to download stuff. But I'm still trying to keep up. I watch WWE only when there's a major event, like a pay-per-view or something like that. They do a pretty good wrap-up, like an intro video just describing everything that I just missed. So that's as far as I go. But I go way back, like early WrestleMania days, like renting WrestleMania tapes from gas stations and shit like that. So I've been around for sure.
Okay, John, where are you at with wrestling? You watching the weeklies at all?
I go way back with wrestling. Very strong childhood memory of bawling, crying on my sitting room carpet because Bob Backlund wouldn't let go of Bret Hart.
Yes.
And
Oh.
going through
Dramatic.
that's a lot to take as a little boy. I'll tell you that. And right now, like pretty much try and keep up with everything. I keep up with WWE's weekly shows through Simon Miller's Ups and Downs, which is super great. And then, but I will keep up with AEW just week to week, just because it's a product I really enjoy. And still, like, we'll tune into. My heart's really with New Japan. I'm a big New Japan guy. I got really into it about 3 or 4 years ago, and I still love it. I think out of all the promotions, COVID hit New Japan the hardest, and it's still I feel like pulling itself back together. But yeah, big wrestling man.
Fantastic.
I'm not actually that big. That was a bad way to put it.
No.
That's your gimmick, right?
Yeah,
Big wrestling man.
7 feet tall.
Yeah.
7 feet tall. That's what John is, and he's a part wolf.
Sure. Yeah. All that's true.
Mike, you watched some New Japan as well. Where have you been at with wrestling lately?
Yeah. So lately, I follow AEW all the time. I follow New Japan's kind of bigger events. I'm getting amped up for the G1 starting, I think, in a couple weeks here. You know, I was a
Heck
wrestling
yeah.
fan most of my life, and then kind of started falling off it. And when I did, it was when Jericho did his first match with Omega in New Japan. That's what kind of brought me back in and realized that I had an alternative. And then that just kind of timed up nicely because that spiraled into AEW, and that's where I kind of have been devoting a lot of my time. Been following that pretty religiously since it started.
Sick. Dan, I'm gonna touch on you last. Grub, where are you at with wrestling? You much of a wrestling man?
A big wrestling
like
man.
yeah, I am the big wrestling man. I
You
like
and John, the big
things-
wrestling man.
That's right. Yeah, we're our
tag team.
Exactly. I like things that people are passionate about. It gives me like a window into like it makes it easier for me to enjoy when I see other people really enjoy something. So I've always had this curiosity since when I was younger. I absolutely was into to wrestling. I watched during the Monday Night Wars. I watched a lot of WCW. I fell off like everything in life where I met girls and decided that was more important. And then I came back around recently because I was like, I think I was like reading a book about they had like some carnies stuff in it, and I'm like, wait, a lot of this stuff is like familiar. Oh, wrestling is where I've heard all these things before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got really interested in that lineage of like how that went from this weird carny sideshow to becoming this major mega business. And then since then, I've been kind of touching in here and there. I watch a lot of the pay-per-views over the last year, not as much. Maybe during COVID, just not as much in general. And just this past few months, I've been trying to get back into it. I got a YouTube TV subscription so I could watch AEW, and I've been watching that here and there. But yeah, I enjoy it. Is where I'm at with it.
Nice. Real quick, I think I used to watch the weeklies religiously. I loved SmackDown, loved Raw, but then as soon as Raw went to 3 hours, it was getting really, really hard to keep up with it on a weekly basis. And then ever since AEW came out, I started watching those weeklies more often. Just love Rampage. We'll get to the Royal Rampage during this episode because, my God, that was amazing. But I think it's just been more fun for me personally to keep up with AEW just because there are familiar faces, the WWE alumni and then other folks from other promotions. But it's just been nice to see fresher faces continuously popping up due to various sets of circumstances. And last but not least, Dan, you haven't had that much of you haven't talked about wrestling that much over the past couple of years, have you?
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the floodgates had to kind of open once I was out of there. It was
The
a weird
dogs are
time.
out.
Yeah. I don't think I've been less interested in the WWE product outside of like the time I was working there. It was really weird timing on that.
Mhm.
I never really watched SmackDown because I was streaming on Friday nights typically. Raw, I'll typically put on in the background when I'm playing games and stuff like that. NXT, ever since 2.0, I found it hard to follow. Although every once in a while, I'll see some stuff like GIFs or stories about what's going on with like wacky, characters, and it seems like they're doing some fun stuff over there. Definitely a lot of talent, but it seems very green. In a way, it almost seems kind of like the old like Hulu days, which is when I really liked NXT. I didn't like it as much when they were like trying to compete with AEW. But honestly, I feel like ever since I've been working there, I can just kind of like see the matrix of WWE, and it's just like, I felt like I knew the industry before and everything, and like there were the things everybody would complain about with WWE and all the like tropes of like, oh, everyone watches the TV sideways, and this thing is said this way, and you can't say belt and all that. But now that I've like seen all that firsthand, and when I watch Raw like last night, I'll have it on for like 3 hours, and it's just like I will watch all of it, but then the second it's over, nothing sticks with me. Every promo, like
Yeah.
I think when you hear Moxley when he left and he did that interview, I can't remember if it was the Wade Keller podcast or what it was, and he talked about the scripted promos and all that. It's such a problem there. Every promo feels like it's written by the same people that don't know wrestling that were brought in because they were a PA on fucking psych for 6 months or something like that.
Well, characters are welcome.
And-
They're keeping in the USA family, Dan.
Characters are welcome. Yes, it's just all so stale, and like I understand some of it because some talent you kind of do need to have it written out.
Sure.
And some talent can kind of do their own thing, and you see some like New Day had a much longer leash with their promos. Becky Lynch, you can kind of tell she's being herself, and they trust her. The Miz, the Miz is like the ideal WWE product.
Yeah.
The dude is up for anything. He is there to put anyone over. He makes everyone look like $1 million. He is safe. He can talk. He can appear on talk shows and everything and do the company line thing perfectly. He is just the most agreeable. Like he's an incredibly, incredibly talented dude. And like that's exactly like the ideal, like the blueprint for a WWE type of character is the Miz, and I can't say enough good things about him. He was always great to work with and everything. But that said, there's just a lot of people that like when you can tell they're just doing the written promos, the Liv Morgans and those types, which Liv's great too, but like it just all feels the same. It all feels
Sure.
the same. All these promos, all these backstages that end the exact same way with the interviewer looking off to the side. And like, it's so formulaic. I hate how clean everything is. Every backstage is lit with the red and the blue and everything. Like, I liked it better when it was like, sorry, I'm just ranting on a bunch of random things here.
Please,
go,
Dan.
go.
Just go
Yeah.
This
off.
is the podcast.
Like,
Yeah,
I liked
this is
it
where to
back
do
in the day, like the Attitude Era, or even beyond, Ruthless Aggression, AEW. Like when you go backstage, I want it to seem like cameras are going backstage and you're catching these people, in a backstage environment. Somebody busts into an office and all that. Everything is so produced now, and everything is so slick. And I hate the production. Everyone complains about the camera cuts and everything. That's a pain too. But everything's just too damn sleek. And AEW feels grimy and dirty and unpredictable in a way where, I don't know, backstages feel better. Everything in terms of like match presentation and commentary and everything feels better. Like commentary is a rough spot right now too, because it's just like everyone has such strict parameters on what they can say, and everything you hear about Vince being in everyone's ear is 100% true. And so you've just got stuff like, the new vicious Viking Raiders. You have to say that every time. They're the new vicious Viking Raiders. Seth freaking Rollins is now his government name. It's like just all that stuff. It all sounds the same versus like the opposite is like an AEW Dark or something. Seeing like Excalibur and Taz and them just like talking and joking around. And it makes it a million times better to watch because it's hilarious,
I feel like I know Corey Graves and I know Michael Cole, and then there's about 6 other voices in there that just sound identical to me every single pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But who's the podcaster that was on at the end of the last pay-per-view that did a really good job?
Pat McAfee?
Pat
Pat's great as well. Oh yeah,
he's
I like
fantastic.
Pat
Right, exactly. Like that. I'm like, because so again, I'm coming in pretty fresh, not knowing the ins and outs of the commentary, but knowing that I've been bored by the commentary in the past, and then Pat's talking, and I'm like, this is really good. What's happening? Like, did they bring in a whole new crew?
Here's the reason Pat's great. Because WWE needs him more than he needs WWE. So he knows he can say whatever the hell he wants. So he can listen to Vince, and he can just be himself, which means he can be like there are a lot of people that are extremely entertaining, and if they were just let off the leash, they could be more like a McAfee, but everyone else is just like, okay, got to do what Vince says, got to say things a certain way. McAfee
So I thought Vince McMahon was going to prison. Why is he still in charge of everything?
I don't know if we're equipped to talk about that right now.
He's still very much doing the things he did. He's just not. You're not going to hear him for 2 seconds garbling into an investor call.
I was
that's
told
about the only thing
Stephanie's
that's
in
changed.
charge. What?
Stephanie is the interim CEO, but like creative and everything. Yes, that's certainly.
Your
seems
timing
like
on exiting that company, Dan, was immaculate.
Oh my god! I mean, it was on. I felt like it was on fire the whole time I was there, and I think like once I left, I feel like it started exploding. Like some fireworks got hit, and it's just like detonating now.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just.
God, speaking, I have it here that we're gonna go through the Forbidden Door card and Money in the Bank and stuff, but like, there's been a couple big news events that have happened in wrestling, like CM Punk coming back, Cody jumping ship back to WWE. Like, how has that like affected y'all as wrestling fans? Because I cried when CM Punk came back, because for the longest time, like, what was it, 9 years, 7 years, like 7. I just did not think this man was coming back. I thought that all of his love for wrestling got killed away, and just how they treated him, his wife. But then when he came back and they fucking had the static, I just lost my shit. And then he's had a pretty good run, that maybe he should stay away from the buckshot lariats. But other than that, everything else has been fantastic. It's just really hard to hate him. And then just for it to be the heel
was a highlight.
Yeah,
the MJF stuff is a highlight of the last couple of years, like the Punk MJF storyline. Like that was great. And like, I'm not even an old Ring of Honor guy, but I know enough about, like, I understood what that entrance meant and everything, even if I wasn't watching back then. And like, just what a masterfully told story. Like that MJF promo, they got really serious, and it's like, how are we supposed to boo this man after this? And then he turns
bullying.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the bullying thing.
Yeah. The rolls of
Man.
quarters being thrown at him.
That's
Brilliant.
So good.
Yeah, dude, seriously, if I'm starting a wrestling company, if I suddenly had Tony Khan money and I was starting my own wrestling company today, number one guy I'm going after is MJF. Between the age and where he's at with everything, like, he's the dude.
Dan, I gotta know the whole MJF stuff now. Is it a work? Is it a shoot? What's going on? What are we thinking now? The fact that they gave him that microphone, he came out, he cut that long promo. There's no way that this
It's
is
a very
completely
well
real.
done worked shoot. I mean, I think it stemmed from some real things.
Sure.
But it's definitely. You remember when Punk, the whole Summer of Punk in like 2011 thing happened? He did the pipe bomb and everything, and they really like hot shot of that thing and made him come back way too quick. You know,
Yeah.
when they should have had him like showing up on indie shows with the belt for so long and everything, and then he just came back and challenged John Cena. I feel like this is them doing that right. I feel like they are having him do his little pipe bomb thing, the Tony you fucking Mark thing, and then commentary doesn't bring it up. He gets taken off all the promotional stuff. Nobody talks about him. He goes dark on social. I feel like this is kind of how that should have gone. Like, I don't know what this leads to. I mean, maybe, you know, Punk wins the title once he comes back, you know, he unifies it with Moxley or whatever. And then, I mean, it seems like MJF coming back as a face against a heel Punk, like company man Punk, is kind of the way to go. Because you're not going to see MJF first, you know, please, Tony Khan, don't ever wrestle. Okay?
Yeah.
Vince, it kind of makes sense.
What if we
Right.
put the strap on him?
Yeah, I don't ever need to see Tony Khan in the ring. Please,
All right, that's
no.
That's
What
my
if
whole
he's-
like concern about it is how does this turn into a wrestling feud? Because right now
I think
it's,
Punk.
it's all intrigue. Yeah,
Mm.
that would make sense.
Because there's already the history with MJF and Punk, and it's for the title, it's better. And I think a heel Punk is always more engaging than a babyface Punk. So if Punk becomes the like Mr. like I love AEW and I love Tony Khan company man, and again, we don't need Tony Khan as the evil authority figure. We've seen that a million times. Let Punk be the corporate stooge, and let MJF be the like, you know.
Well, do you
the
remember there was
babyface.
that one line? I kind of had some problems with like how they built up to the Hangman Punk storyline, just because I feel like we didn't get too much of a storyline. But there was that one beautiful line that Hangman had where he's like, "I want to protect AEW from you."
So good.
Yep.
I hope that moving forward, we get to see what Hangman meant by that. And like, I think there's so many ways you could take that, you know?
I think they are good at hinting about things that are very. I think you saw it with Eddie and Punk as well.
Totally.
Like, look, Punk has a.
I
reputation.
thought that was like the best match of last year, nearly. Like, I love that match
Kingston
so much.
and Punk, or
Kingston and Punk. I
when he just like
thought
knocked him out.
the
at the very beginning, it was
emotion of
incredible.
that match. Oh,
Oh man,
Yeah.
I just want to say how awesome it is to see Eddie Kingston on fucking cable
Yeah,
television. You know, because like
He's the most believable character in wrestling.
Yes,
When he comes
totally.
on, him just walking to the ring is more compelling than anything I see on a 3-hour Raw,
Yeah.
typically.
God.
Just the look on his face, the way he, like, I just can't wait. Whenever I see he has a microphone in his hand, I'm just like, ooh, here we go.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that guy's been killing it for so long. And now for him to be on this stage, having these like super high profile feuds with CM Punk and Chris Jericho and stuff.
I know.
He's amazing.
what I
Kingston.
love about Eddie is like he's able to do it in these little moments as well. Like there was this bit where it was him and Moxley feuding with
Oh,
Max Caster and the other guy. I can't remember, but
Everybody
Owens.
loves the Acclaimed.
yeah, the Acclaimed, and Moxley's like, okay, so they're like a group of rappers, and then Kingston just fires back, no, one's the rapper and one's the rapper's friend.
Anthony
And
Bones.
that was it, and it was so weird and funny, you know.
It's so
The hype
maybe
man.
the hardest I laughed during like the pandemic era of wrestling is when Bowens the Acclaim came out and Max Caster did the thing about like Renee giving me some oral sessions or whatever, and it cuts to Mox and you just see this look like I'm gonna kill this motherfucker, and then Bowens comes in and he's like I forgot what he yelled. He's like, oh, you know, Tampa Bay, and in the middle of it, Moxley just punches him right in the fucking face. Just killed me.
Yeah, Bowens is so good at like the local pop of like wherever you're at, and then just like the way his cheeks just after
Yes.
he yells "Scissor me, daddy."
And then
daddy
the
ass.
ass boy is
Oh,
just so
Jesus.
fucking
Goober.
funny.
Yeah.
Those
Uh,
are
like
idiots.
goobers in
And just
wrestling.
scissor me ass daddy is the funniest thing.
Oh
Like,
my
This is
God.
what Billy Gunn is doing in 2022, and I love it.
Also, Billy Gunn, probably the best shape out of any of his contemporaries.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yes. It's like 6'8" and jacked.
Yep.
It's not 6'8", but it looks like it.
It's probably 68 or well, maybe not 68, but God.
What'd y'all think about the Cody switch? I honestly kind of like soured on Cody at the end of near the end of his AEW time, but like when he switched over to WWE, it was like, wow, this works. This 100%
Yeah,
works.
right.
Yeah.
Well, that character of just that white meat baby face with like no irony, like that works with the more kind of mainstream, kid friendly. Like kids fucking love Cody.
They
like
do,
genuinely,
yeah.
like it's super working, and like him doing that stunt like he did with the Hell in a Cell thing, like his whole thing is working. If he comes back, surprise return in the Rumble, goes after, well, we'll see if Roman's still champ then. But like the Cody thing, he is the top baby face in that company without a doubt, and I think a lot of people wondered if that would work. Oh god, I was there in the arena. I was working there when he came out and the music and everything. I went out to experience it like in the arena, and I was like, this is one of the most surreal things I've ever seen in wrestling. Like the whole presentation with the theme and all that. Like,
yeah,
just nuts. It worked.
That dude got me to like that theme. He got me to like that theme.
Yeah.
Oh, I always loved it. It's been on my running playlist for way too long.
It's
Adrenaline in my soul.
Keep going, Mike. Finish
something, Cody Rhodes.
Wow, voice of an angel. Jeez, damn, Mike. I didn't know you had pipes.
Oh yeah,
Nearly
that
did a
whole
spit
thing was
take.
that whole thing was so weird for me because again, I was like a part of that whole AEW thing from the beginning. I was at All In Chicago when that happened, so I guess part of it was me getting worked and really buying into the whole Cody, the face of the revolution, coming out the sledgehammer, smashing the throne, right? And it being like being almost Mr. AEW. So, and again, it's all business, and I understand that, but it was real weird for me for a while to be like, Cody can leave. He's allowed to do that.
Yeah,
he can go to WWE.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was bizarre for me for a while, and I had conflicted feelings about it. But I've been really happy seeing him succeed there, and it seems like he's getting everything he wants, and good for him.
Yeah.
I'm bummed because one of the last podcasts I did while I was at WWE was we had Cody come on the Corey Graves show, and I've known Cody for a while, and I know he's obviously a huge Zelda mark and everything. So I put together a 16 Zelda game bracket for him to determine, like lightning round, like pick the best Zelda game, but we didn't have time for it. So I texted him afterwards, be like, "Oh man, I was gonna go through this with you," and he saw the bracket and he called the Oracle Games enhancement talent.
Wow.
I would like to get that on air, but yeah.
Carrying the Oracle games.
I know.
Jesus. Wow.
I mean, but in the grand scheme of things, outside of like Spirit Tracks and 2, I mean, they're near the bottom half of that list for sure.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they're in the middle
probably.
of the list. Maybe they're middling.
I mean, we can all agree that we're all just like Stone Cold, and we're all Breath of the Wild guys, right?
That's right. Oh yeah, absolutely. Number one Breath of the Wild fan.
All right, let's talk about the two big wrestling events.
Try not to derail this podcast, but continue.
We're not talking about Spirit Tracks anymore.
We can take it off the rails at any point.
Mitch, settle down.
So I'll just name the matches as they go along, and if there are moments we want to talk about or whatever, by all means stop me and we'll talk about them. Otherwise, maybe just get a good like pulse check of like, you like it, don't like it, who is in this match, what. All right, first up on the Forbidden Door card, we're also skipping the pre-show stuff. The Jericho Appreciation Society wins over the team of Eddie Kingston, Wheeler Yuta, and Shota Umino. Any thoughts on this, gents?
Like Shota, I liked when he was John Moxley's like apprentice.
His young line, it was great. I didn't realize
Shooter.
it was the same dude at first. I was like, wow, you have beefed up.
He should be wearing red shoes though, because he's famous New Japan referee Red Shoes' son. He should be leaning into that.
He's Red Shoes' son. I would wear nothing but red shoes if he was.
I would
he was
just
my
be
dad.
a red shoe.
Yeah. I gotta say, go ahead, Dan.
Oh, I was gonna say, I feel like this is kind of like, AEW. One of the things that kind of bugs me is that there's just, since the roster is so huge and there's a limited, airtime, that there's so many just like 6-man tags and 10-man tags where it's just like, here's some kind of loosely thrown together groups and stuff like that. And the factions, like, I think the worst was like the Hardy Family Office thing where it's like, here's just 8 people we don't know what to do with and they'll stand together. Like this is like it's Jericho and Sammy, which they're kind of aligned again, and then Suzuki. Like, why? I don't really understand why Suzuki's with them.
Suzuki loves
Eddie
magic,
Wheeler
Dan.
and Shota. It's just kind of like I kind of need more of a like. I love a good match just for a good match's sake, but also if there's some sort of like look at like Blood and Guts. Like, you've got Jericho Appreciation Society and Blackpool, and there's a story there. There's a reason they hate each other. There's stories. There's individual stories within the group story and stuff like that. Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
This is, to me, it's kind of like, okay, it's a bunch of good wrestlers wrestling each other, which is great, but it lacks something for me.
It feels like one of those New Japan undercard matches where it's like just a lot of chaos and a lot of Suzuki gun, and they just kind of go at it, and it's like the story isn't super progressed after the match is done, even if the match itself is quite entertaining, which this was. I thought like it was a good
Yeah.
match, but I would agree with Dan there.
It's like a classic New Japan undercard match where because they do a lot of just multi-tag man matches to get everybody on the card. So I guess being a cross promotional thing with them, it made a lot of sense.
Yeah,
that
that's true.
way.
I do want to shout out Wheeler Yuta because his rise to the top with a Blackpool Combat Club, right?
Yeah, he's been fun to watch. Yeah,
He's been great, and I think that is an example of like AEW's ability to build new faces, and the sustainability with some of those stars has kind of been a problem because people will rise to the top and then disappear for half a year.
And that faction in particular, because like if you don't have some sort of younger talent in there, then you've got Regal, Mox, Danielson, and Claudio, which is
now Claudio.
okay,
yeah.
they're all fucking awesome, but
Great.
they're all XWE guys,
Yeah.
I think some of the stuff they're doing with the Blackpool Combat Club, like the way how everyone who joins the Blackpool Combat Club starts using that hammer and tongs move.
So good.
Stuff like that makes them feel so like a community, like so like this little group, and I love that because I hate it in factions when it's just like we just put these guys together, and like that's what you were saying earlier about the Hardy family and stuff. Like it was like there wasn't really a sense that they wanted to be together, and even if they're heels, I feel like it should be like there should be a sense that like there's a reason we're together. Like the best days of the Inner Circle, I felt like that they were a community, you know.
Yeah, and they made the Inner Circle work, but I mean, I feel like that was that very first Dynamite, remember, ended with the formation. And I remember even at the end of that being like, why are these five guys together? This is kind of weird. But like, they made it work. They stuck around for a long time and had a lot of great moments. But like, I feel like there are so many examples of like, here's a bunch of people thrown together.
Yeah.
Like, and again, I bring up like the Hardy family office is the worst thing, but like, what was the? I guess it's them too. The two, the green guys and Helico and Jack Evans.
Oh,
It's like, I don't know how many times during like, but they were part of like that Hardy family office too, where it's like you wouldn't even know who was in or who was out half the time or why. Yeah.
Moving down the card, I think this is my favorite match of Forbidden Door. We got FTR winning against Roppongi Vice and United Empire. Let me tell you, Jeff Cobb is like if Rhino could move and like be a power lifter. I just need a team
I've
of
slapped
like.
him in the face. I've slapped that man in the face with no fear several times.
He's such a thick boy. He is a meaty
And
man.
you can't just lie on the podcast.
I have a video of me slapping Jeff Cobb in the face and tussling his hair and mocking him, and then he didn't kill
Jan,
me.
we can cut all this bit out, right?
Yeah. I know we're live, but we'll cut it out. Yeah. I gotta say, I was not really sold on FTR during their WWE run. Like people kept hyping them up as like
they were so great.
It's like they're the greatest tag team, blah blah blah. I'm like, I get it, sure, or whatever. But then like their transition to AEW, and especially with this current run they're on, with all the belts,
and
just
the
like
theme song.
The theme song is great. Theme song is great. But like Jesus Christ, like this is like a tag team team. These people are more than drift compatible.
It's crazy to me because it was like 4 or 5 months ago that there was some story where someone asked Dax like how he felt about his run in AEW, and he was just like not satisfied. Like he gave some dismissive, and like the run, like both of them, but like particularly him and Had and like the Briscoes and oh man, Dan or sorry John, real quick, I just wanted to say just if you like Jeff Cobb, if you haven't watched that Jeff Cobb versus Tomohiro Ishii match from Wrestle Kingdom, it's like two skyscrapers beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
Man.
Anyway, that's an aside.
Yeah.
FTR,
man, they've had such a great year. And when Danhausen introduced him as his mystery partner.
Oh, yeah.
That was like
I think they're kind of good at wrestling, I guess.
Yeah,
like whatever
the
you say.
pop that they got, I'm like, oh man, like not only are they great, and they're not just like kind of over, they're big stars there now. Like this has been kind of a meteoric face turn for them. It's been great.
Oh God, when Dax came back afterwards and he's all taped up now, and then he just like just walking down like a strong man, like he felt like such a bigger star than he had ever felt before. Like his singles matches that he's had over the past couple months have also been really, really impressive. And I was like, damn, like I didn't know you had this in you. I thought you were just a tag team dude.
Also, I want to shout him out for talking pretty explicitly about his experiences with anxiety on Renee's podcast. Like between him and Eddie Kingston and stuff, like writing that the thing about his mental illness issues and stuff. I'm a big fan of anytime professional wrestlers and these very traditional like tough guys, like fucking Eddie Kingston for Christ's sake, being very open about mental health and things like that. So just I hope that trend keeps going.
Yeah, 100%.
Super cool.
Next match, we got Pac winning another title that AEW didn't need against Miro, Malachi Black, and Clark Connors. Thoughts on this, gents? I just like that Pac has the title.
Same.
Yeah,
Like
I wish
I'm
Ishii
okay with
would've
this
been
title existing because Pac has it now.
Yeah.
He's coming
There
to
you go.
Ireland soon. I'm so excited.
Thought it was going to be a trios title when they showed that vignette. I was like,
I was
it's
really
really
hoping.
happening.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I don't know how we don't have that of all the ones. Yeah, Pac's been there kind of in AEW from the ground floor, and it feels like he's kind of gotten the short end of the stick a lot of times. So it was really nice seeing him win this one, and I hope that he has a good and interesting run with it pretty soon. Because Pac can have good matches with seems like just about anybody, right? He had
Right.
the first big singles match against Orange Cassidy,
Yeah.
and that was great. And that's like such a weird match for anybody, right? Especially where he was then as this mostly just comedy wrestler. You're trying to get him over as super athletic and introduce him to this audience, but then he's also great of these trios
It
things.
should have been like a
multi-mans.
styles clash with Orange Cassidy,
Yeah.
but it worked so
Yeah.
well, I thought.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Dude, that match at Double or Nothing between the Death Triangle and House of Black. Holy shit. That was incredible.
Some of the best trios competition I've ever seen, honestly. It reminded me of like the good days of the Shield versus the Wyatt family, of just like
Oh, yeah.
a bunch of more spry people against like bigger, meatier boys. We saw Miro got misted by Malachi Black. Does that factor into a story further down the line, or is Miro
He's
gonna
gonna worship
continue?
Satan now.
Has he finally turned against God?
I feel like have people gotten misted with the Black Mist and not turned, like, because Pac got misted and he just went blind for like
Yes.
a day,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
It usually
Really
has
hard
like
turned evil.
Cody dyed his hair. Or no, was that against that was Brody, was it?
Yeah.
No,
Cody got his hair for
Malachi
a
and
TV
Cody had some
show.
stuff going on. Did he get misted? What
I'm
was
just
it
trying to
the Black
remember
Mist?
at which point
He's been misted
I
before.
think no,
Yeah.
I think Cody
Well, he left
dyed his hair
AEW
within the match
completely.
with Brody.
That's what happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's a certain color of mist where if you get hit, you just go to WWE. It works better.
Miro is another dude that is like a complete 180. Like I loved seeing Miro in WWE, but now he feels like that's like a fucking $1 million. That's a future world champion right there.
I'm still mad that they took the TNT title off him the way they did. I felt like I felt like that title has just, and like I love Scorpio Sky. I feel like that title just kind of fell down a cliff, like since he lost it.
Wardlow's about to throw him off a cliff like Heihachi soon. Because,
Okay.
like, Wardlow's on a collision course with him, and he's going to murder Scorpio Sky.
I need
We've got a
Wardlow.
street fight
Wardlow.
coming up, right?
Well, yeah, Wardlow is the fucking
Oh
best.
my
I
God.
love that
Oh,
dude.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm a
Strap the rocket to him.
I'm a
From
big
Cleveland, Ohio, Jeff, represent.
Yeah.
I fucking love Batista, and I see nothing but like new Batista all over Wardlow. It's been absolutely fucking fantastic. Next match on the card, we got which might have the best call of the night by Taz. We got Dudes with Attitudes, which is Darby Allin, Sting, and Shingo versus the Bullet Club, compromising of the Young Bucks and El Phantasmo. I got to tell you, when I first heard of El Phantasmo, I was really surprised he was a white dude.
And not
I was
masked.
too.
You're right.
Yeah, didn't like in the promo images he had the mask, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't watch a lot of New Japan, so when this guy was in the ring, I was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?" And then I was actually like cracking up at this guy a lot. I was like, "I think I like this El Phantasmo guy."
He's really good.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, he's like the Bucks. Like if instead of, well, he's also really good, but he's like the Bucks if he just turned up the annoying rate more, and just
Yes.
didn't have sneakers.
Yeah, wasn't it him with the nipple spots with Sting?
Yes. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? Like he can retire now and just say and have a Hall of Fame career just because he did a titty twister to the icon Sting. Which
I was signing those glossies at every convention. Him just with the nipple twist on stage.
Yeah, right. That's
I want one.
8 by 11.
Yeah. That's
In
I don't know
general-
how. I
you go
always
ahead, Dan.
respected Sting a lot. Like obviously he's a legend and everything, but like
Yeah.
I was just never a
Same.
big Sting guy.
I am in the
either
same
Surfer
boat.
Sting.
Yeah.
Yeah, until he shows up at 60 and starts jumping off his shit in AEW. Now I'm like, holy
Right.
shit, kick
Yeah.
ass. I
That was
love
the first
Sting.
thing he
Yes,
did
he's
this
great.
match, right? That was his entrance. He jumped off the stage onto them. Like,
He-
Sting, oh
he
my
pulled
God.
they had like a Batman style silhouette, and then like everyone turns around, and this 60-year-old man jumps off the tunnel to onto these dudes. Grub, I need to like you were familiar with Sting in the past, right?
Yeah, so when I got into wrestling as a kid, it was, as a teenager, it was, oh man, I have this weird loyalty to Hulk going to WCW. I got to just see this, and I didn't okay, I actually don't care about Hulk. But then Sting started doing his mysterious stuff, and I got so into Sting. Sting is my favorite wrestler.
Oh
So yes.
shit! So how was it to
Yeah.
see Sting in his older age actually putting in really good work?
It's fantastic that he's so good at adapting over time, right? Like he's changed so many times, and now he knows how to play his role so well. It's awesome to see him do his spots and make them very exciting, and then get out of the way. Like he just knows exactly how to where he should be at 60. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I remember when the first cinematic match came out in WWE, everyone was thinking oh, Sting and Taker, they could finally have a match. But man, for the rest of my life, I would really prefer to never see The Undertaker in another match again. Oh God, he's really soured me on his legacy.
Who are in W? It was Seth Rollins, or who gave him the neck
Sting's
injury?
last match in WWE was against Seth Rollins. Yeah,
He took a buckle bomb and then
power
collapsed.
into the
Yeah.
corner moment.
Okay.
Then.
Right. Okay.
I love both of these competitors, but this match didn't really wow me. We have the women's title up for grabs with Thunder Rosa and Toni Storm.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I love both of them. I do find that Toni Storm, I'm always very excited for her matches, and then a lot of times I'm not oh, that match sucks, but they don't really stick with me a lot of times. And maybe I didn't see a lot of her stuff in Japan or whatever, but I feel like there's a lot to Toni Storm that I haven't quite seen yet in AEW, you know?
I gotta say, I actually really, really like this match, and for a couple of reasons. One, I like that it was a clean match that just let the champ feel like a champ. Thunder Rosa beat the shit out of her for most of this match, you know?
Yeah.
And then Toni Storm got her shine at the end, but I thought it was a very kind of Stardom-esque match where it was there was this big power difference between the two wrestlers that they really made apparent. And I was kind of like that with Toni Storm for a long time. I'd seen a little bit of her stuff in Stardom stuff, but I wasn't really sold on her. This match actually kind of had me a bit oh, there's totally something to this Toni Storm. I'm really excited to see her develop from here, because I think I could be wrong. I think she's also super young. I think she's still
I think she is. Yeah.
She's still very much developing, and I think she has a really great career ahead of her. Yeah. Could have used the storyline, but I feel
right.
That's
Sure.
a bigger systemic problem with women's wrestling in AEW.
Yeah.
It looks like now they might be, I don't know how permanent this is, but I saw they were advertised for Dark or something as Thunderstorm, the tag team.
Oh, that's
Thunder
good.
Rosa and Toni Storm, which it is good. It works, but I do have kind of a knee-jerk reaction whenever WWE would shove two people together and it's now they're Jarrah Show or it's Air Boom. And it's just the theme is just let's just shove both their themes together as long as they don't do that.
I hate when they do that. Yeah.
It's the dumbest thing.
The Jarrah Show theme was great. All timer. I didn't know what you're talking about, Dan.
Where break the walls down.
This be Jericho's theme that every once in a while you hear in the background break show.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know what's next for Thunder after this. Who does she move on to on that roster? Do they?
The number one contender. I I don't know. They haven't been doing much
her
storyline.
Proper story
Jamie Hayter a story.
Yeah, I just need Hayter to finally turn on what's her face?
Britt
Yes.
Baker.
Yes, on Britt. I need that to finally happen.
Yeah,
they could build up Serena Deeb. Oh, Serena Deeb. Oh my God, she is absolutely fantastic. I
total package, just
100%.
everything.
Yeah, I think they just need to give her more mic time, or just give her a manager, someone to speak for her, and she'll just snap. Just put her in the Blackpool Combat Club. Just have Regal do her promos.
they do need a woman in there. It feels right.
Yeah.
We're getting such a good rub from that, and there are so many women who need just a little bit more extra to kind of help elevate them.
She'd be perfect. Her whole professor of wrestling gimmick.
Yeah.
Next match on the card, probably one of the funnest matches. We have Will Osprey versus Orange Cassidy. Will Osprey taking that. I was not the biggest fan of Will Osprey for a while because of his little assholery a couple of years ago. Just him being just a little bit of a smart mouth, but he's really grown into his own and really just leaned into the role he has to fill perfectly. That jacket, $10,000 jacket, walk into the ring. Oh,
The whole package is like, I first became aware of him. Remember that one match with Ricochet that went viral?
Yes.
Was it him and Ricochet where it was just like, it got a lot of flack from the old school guys where it's just a bunch of choreographed dance moves and flipping and stuff like that, but it was undeniably amazing. I haven't watched a lot of like New Japan or British Pro Wrestling or anything like that. I just kind of for the longest time thought Osprey was like a Ricochet type where he's like physically capable of incredible things, but that's about where it ends. But like, the more I've seen of him in the last year or so, just in clips I've seen on social, and especially in this match, it's like, oh, he has found a character, and he can still do really incredible things in the ring, but he seems to have like slowed it down and done a lot of character work. And I was pretty into it here.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
Sorry, you go ahead.
Oh, well,
No, I insist. I must insist.
Thank you so much, Mr. Wolf. This was my favorite match of the night, I think, just because I do really like when matches have that strong character work. And like Orange Cassidy obviously was doing so much of it, and it was so entertaining that whole time. Plus, we had Shibata show up at the end, and that was great. Yeah, right. That was
that
fun.
guy should be dead.
I know, but he's here and he's making me smile, and I love it. But yeah, just a really fun match. And Osprey is somebody who when I first started watching New Japan, he was just pure, cruiserweight, flippity do guy, which was great. I like that stuff, but he has done a really smart job of transitioning into this heavyweight with a slightly more grounded style who can still do these moves. But Dan, like you were talking about at first, he was like Mr. Flippity do, and it was great. It turns out you can't wrestle like that forever though. So he has kind of grown into a more mature wrestler, even though sometimes, his online presence is slightly obnoxious, and it's hard to tell when it's character work and when it's just maybe this guy sucks. I don't know.
Yeah.
Can I ask where just this is me being like, okay, just kind of half paying attention.
Please.
I think Orange Cassidy is fantastic. Should I have like low expectations for his ability to like rise up the card or something because he's perceived so comedically?
I think he's a wrestler who would never succeed in a more traditional federation like WWE or something. I mean, he's so over and people love him so much. I could totally see him being a champion at some point.
Yeah. I also feel like
type storyline.
Yeah. I feel like he fits that role of like he is going to have a great career as someone that may not have ever needed a title. Right?
Yeah.
Right. That's where I'm like, should I just be that way with him? Yeah.
Yeah, he's not going to be like a Santino Marella comedy wrestler where it's like, well, of course he's never going to be world heavyweight champion, right? And he's been in world heavyweight championship matches before, even though he's never been favored to win. But he's somebody who, if they fall short some hands for some reason because of injuries, which we've been seeing a lot of, they can slot him in there pretty easily because everybody loves him. Now, that's part of the problem is everybody already loves him. What does he need a title for? But they could do
He's got the theme. He's got Jane back.
Yes.
His old indie theme, which is as good as the Pixies were. Like, keep the Pixies as like the best friends or Chuck Taylor or whatever. Have them come out to Jane though when it's just OC. Like, that's a great fucking theme.
All right. Moving down the card, we have the biggest surprise of the night: Claudio Castagnoli coming out and debuting against Zack Saber Jr.
Oh, so good. So good.
I was
very happy with that.
I was so happy to have Claudio get that pop.
Oh man. So when I left WWE and knowing I was going to talk more about wrestling on stuff like this, I vowed that like I'm not going to go be sour grapes guy and shit on anyone except for Hulk Hogan. I can shit on Hulk Hogan all day. Fuck that guy. But I have no problem talking about like just saints that are just, when I talk about like Big E or Bianca Belair, Claudio, he is just the best dude. Everything you hear about the guy, everyone loves him. He's the nicest dude to work with, whether you're just a crew guy or the top guy on the card. The pop he got and seeing how happy he was. He's on Twitch again. Follow him on Claudio's Cafe on Twitch. He's the absolute best. So just seeing him, I had a feeling this was going to be the case. But God damn it, I was just smiling that whole time.
Yeah.
Nice.
He rules. It's great seeing him get those flowers.
100%. I'm also was really surprised by Zack Saber Jr. because I remember my first exposure to him was during the Cruiserweight Classic back at WWE, and he was just very like, oh, I'm very flexible and I'm very bendy. But now that guy's promo work is absolutely fantastic. He plays chicken shit so well. Any other thoughts on that match, gents?
No, just Zack Saber Jr. is incredible. It's so nice seeing somebody who is so heavily a submission-based wrestler. It's something of a rarity, and he still makes it exciting, right?
Yeah.
Usually when we think about exciting wrestling, we think about our high spots or doing a lot of flips, doing a lot of
Speak
like
for yourself.
big
I
power
think
bomb
of
moves.
Dean Malenko. That's who I think of. It's
There you go.
exciting.
But yeah, Zach is just fantastic at making submission wrestling really
Yep.
exciting and really interesting.
What?
We
Yeah,
still
it was
need the
almost like a.
Danielson-
Yeah, it's as much as I wanted to see the Bryan Danielson match. Claudia obviously did a great job, but it really showcased him as like a powerhouse wrestler. When he Zach had him in a armbar, and Claudia just like lifted him up, put him on his shoulder, walked up to the ring, wiped his feet, and then threw him in. It was amazing.
Oh man, that guy's level of strength is insane.
Yep.
Next match, we got Jay White winning against Okada, Hangman, and Adam Cole, baby.
Baby.
I think this match had to end a little bit shorter. They had to call an audible because of an injury
Yeah.
Right.
that happened.
Yeah,
This
Adam
had
Cole got a concussion, right?
I think so. I think Okada.
pretty bad one from what I
collapsed
hear.
during
Yeah,
the Rainmaker. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
it's a
shame because
bummer.
it was a really good matchup until then, but
Mhm.
then at the end, like obviously all you can think about is what's happened, your concern, what went wrong. So it kind of overshadowed everything that happened before it.
Yeah.
I'm glad they called that when
The
they did.
announcers during that were saying stuff like, it was anticlimactic and stuff. Is that usually how they try to play that stuff off, or was it like how do you play that stuff off
Not
when you're
usually. You usually don't hear the announcers themselves call the ending of a match anticlimactic, which was when I was realized, something weird happened here.
Yeah.
It's crazy because they didn't even do that when like the exploding ring thing didn't work. Like they
Right.
didn't. AEW the announcers can do so much more, but like that was the
Right.
big ending was the exploding ring, and they had to just kind of be like, oh, they're hurt. Whereas with this, they actually addressed it, which I actually prefer them.
Yeah, I
addressing it.
liked it.
Mm.
Yes. It felt like the way that's what I always liked about WCW. It just felt like they were trying to be like sports. And it's like this, something's happening in front of our faces. Just talk about it. I like that.
Yeah.
Mm.
I
I gotta say it was amazing just to see Okada
Oh my God.
in an AEW ring, like one of my all-time favorites, and I'm still holding out for the dream match of him versus Danielson. Like that's
it has
when
to
I
come.
thought that's where we were going, but we'll see. But it was just amazing to see him. Like, yeah, he's incredible.
Great.
the
He's a star.
coin
Every time
drop
you see
and
him,
then
he's a
just
star.
like, oh my God, it's so good. It's so good.
He's so good at wrestling; it rains money.
Mhm.
And then final match of Forbidden Door, we got Jon Moxley winning as interim AEW champ against Hiroshi Tanahashi, the ace of New Japan. I gotta say, I was watching this with my partner, and she's not familiar at all with New Japan. She has tangential knowledge just because I have it on in the background. She was like, "This Japanese dude, he's really good. I like him. How'd he do that?" I was just like, he just has this latent ability to just draw the crowd in. He has like good Goku energy, except not being so much of a dummy. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah. And I keep thinking, Tanahashi's too old now. He can't actually do this anymore. I have low expectations for his match at this thing. He comes out and he's still just great.
Yeah.
He's still just fantastic. He's still keeping up. He's still looking like a star and making his opponent look like a star.
I could do
Really happy
with
for Mox too, because you
Yeah.
can tell Mox was just kind of like marking out of the
Yeah.
opportunity to
Yeah.
do that.
I could do with Mox not bleeding for a couple matches. It's my personal preference.
Tell him that.
But that was Forbidden Door, folks. Any last thoughts on that before we move on?
Read
I think
Mox's book.
for a show that was so like plagued with injuries and
Oh
stuff, I
my
was not
God,
excited going into it. I came out of it like not being happy about Forbidden Door, but being like feeling good about like wrestling, like feeling like wrestling. Like I was so pumped after it, and I thought it was such a great show, such an unexpectedly great show.
Mhm.
What's the Forbidden Door?
So
Did we ever find out what that is?
So,
But
yeah.
it
The
means,
back one.
yeah, so it's like, at first when all those guys left New Japan, like the Elite, there was bad blood. So it's like, we're not going to have people from New Japan. So I think it was
okay.
Tanahashi who coined like, that's a forbidden door to talk about AEW.
Oh,
over in
very
New
cool.
Japan. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Very
then they
cool.
started
Thank you.
leaning into it. So anytime like
All
somebody
right.
from New Japan showed up, like, the forbidden door's open, and now it's just a pay-per-view.
Cool.
How much
But
time
now I
do we
think it's
got
kind of a
left?
catch-all for like people going to other promotions. Like
Yes.
I think Tony Khan just said something about being open to like a WWE crossover event. People being like, "Oh, that's the real Forbidden Door is AEW and W." So like Forbidden Doors has become part of the lexicon now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The arcade pit is pretty much our Forbidden Door of like, oh my God, is that Imran from Fanbite?
What's
Uh,
he doing here?
we still got some time to talk about wrestling, right? Y'all still got some time?
Sure.
All
I'm
right.
good.
Always.
Good.
Okay,
Always.
we'll probably speed through Money in the Bank. I just want to quickly touch upon how absolutely insane, and I'm a person that does not like blood in wrestling, but blood and guts. Jesus
Oh,
You mix them
Christ.
together, and man,
Mhm.
That's the combination
Magical.
you got to go for. Like,
That
what's
was
his
great.
face? Angelo just hanging before the
Yes.
commercial
Dude,
break. I don't even know
those
how that
2.0
happened.
guys are amazing. Matt Menard, anytime he's on the screen, I'm just looking directly at Matt Menard's face and just seeing him just do all this weird twitchy stuff and smacking gum and just 80s faces and Macho Man stuff. Like oh my God, I love that guy.
Yeah.
And Angelo's great too, just always combing his hair. He's like some greaser now. Like I just fucking love
Yep.
those weirdos.
Oh my God. Yeah. And then like they get me to the moment that I really popped for was when Claudio went against Jake Hager in the ring. And then like you just hear the background just chanting, "We the people."
I had
Right.
to remember, I was like, wait, I remember the whole We the People thing. I was like, what the fuck was it? Were they the real Americans? The Patriots? What the fuck were they?
Yeah, I remember this. They had the AM radio talk show host guy come out with them with
Yeah.
the beard
Zeb
and
Coulter.
stuff.
Like a
And
And
tea
Zeb
party
Coulter-
thing.
Do you remember they did the thing where Glenn Beck was giving
Yeah.
shit to it? And so they filmed a thing where like Zeb Coulter and Jack Swagger went to Glenn Beck's studio or something, trying to get some like mainstream and like the backdrop came down. It's like, my name is Jake Hager. My name is Dutch Mantel or whatever. Like they were like, we're just performers on a show. It was the weirdest attempt at getting some mainstream.
and you
public
like trying to
attention.
talk sense to Glenn Beck. Fucking come on, yeah.
What are we doing here?
Ugh.
Unfortunately, was it Santana that got hurt in that match?
Santana got hurt, I believe.
Yeah.
Right when he walked
Oh,
in.
like straight away, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah,
bad
poor guy.
Uranagi or a bad backbreaker, I think landed wrong on his knee. Hope that dude's insane, or not insane. Hope that dude is safe because Jesus Christ, AEW's going through all of their roster and just injuring everyone.
Bug.
Ugh.
Mhm.
Yeah, they've been pretty like safe from that for a while now, like not having major stars getting injuries, and now it's just going like one after another, especially with Punk being out. The whole interim AEW championship thing is still kind
Yeah.
of confusing. I still don't know why they just didn't relinquish the title and crown a new champion. And then Punk
Tony's
challenge
all
when
in
he
on
comes back.
Punk.
Yeah.
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 Meanwhile, Kenny's still in some like RoboCop chamber or hyperbaric,
Yes.
like,
Yeah,
he's just
in the
living
mountains.
together,
Yeah.
God, it's
Oh,
so
can
interesting
I-
to think
can I
how
sp-
Kenny. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead first because mine's a dumb question.
I was just going to say it's so interesting to think like how Omega even fits into the current AEW landscape. Like I'm really, really curious to see. He was another one. I was heartbroken that we weren't going to get
Yeah.
him versus Ibushi 4 at Forbidden Door.
Yeah. Well,
That's another thing, like him coming back. It's like I felt a little messy with all the undisputed elite stuff and the Red Dragon, and just a lot of like, wait, okay, who likes each other and who doesn't like each other now, and wait, is Cole on whose side? And there's just a lot of backstage vignettes that I don't think it ever went anywhere satisfying.
Mhm.
They just had like a
Right.
bunch of dudes, and we know they all had this affiliation with Bullet Club and all that, but now it's tenuous, and I just feel like that never really paid off. And I don't know if Kenny's going to be involved with that, and they bring that back to the forefront.
Someone like who loves like the whole Bullet Club shtick, I think like it's been largely unsuccessful in AEW, and I'd nearly rather they kind of just let it go. I think that's a gimmick that's beautiful in Japan and doesn't really work outside it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it feels
worked
like it's going
earlier
through
in
several
AEW.
translation layers, right? Because it's like it started
Yeah.
as like fans of one thing, and they're taking it to Japan, so it's like this is a completely different place. So it's like kind of okay to be like, oh, we're gonna do the Wolfpack thing here, even though we were never that. And then it's like, oh, to bring it back around feels weird to me.
They were angry American wrestling fanboys, and
Yeah, that's
I know
cool.
what was cool, you know.
Yeah, that's like a really cool idea. But yeah, bringing it back around doesn't work.
I just need to see Omega versus everyone. I just
Yeah.
want him to kind of
Right.
go on a tear and just take all the belts.
Well, we gotta
I think
have
he's
Omega
my
versus
favorite
Punk at
wrestler
some
ever.
point.
Same.
Oh God, yeah, he's
we
great.
need him healthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely,
Take his time.
100%.
I want him to take as much time as
Yes.
it takes, so that when he comes
Please.
back, he has.
Oh, I mean,
another
he's one of
great
those
run.
wrestlers where if he was like, guys, I'm actually done, it's like, I'll salute that man and be like, best of luck, because like the amount of just like classics he's given us over the years.
He's
I
done.
don't know if you saw
He's
that clip
done.
of him at CEO on Jabali's stream, and he was saying like, "Hey, if I have one more setback
Yeah, I
in
saw
my
that.
recovery,
Yep.
I'm just done. I'm done." And it's like, yeah, man, like
Fair enough.
he has
fair
nothing
enough.
left to
Yep.
prove. If
No.
you don't
Oh,
put
yeah.
himself in danger by any means.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Thanks for being on the E3 couch, by the way. Career highlight, miking a man in a towel. Also, I gotta say, I'm a big mark for the fucking Royal Rumble. Any type of over the top man battle royale type of deal in any wrestling company. I really enjoyed the Royal Rampage with the two rings. It was real dumb and it was real fun. And to see how that ended with Brody Kingston just fucking holding Darby Allin, choking him out and dropping him. Oh my God.
Like, way to make him feel like a monster.
Yeah.
Like, that was such a good visual. That's going to be on the opening titles thing.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Also, like that final three in I think the red ring of Hangman, Starks, Ricky Starks, and Brody Kingston. I was like, Jesus Christ! Like, I mean, they've flitted in and out with pushing Ricky Starks, but that guy really has it all. I cannot wait.
Everything.
I cannot wait for that man to drop the FTW title and get an actual real deal title.
Yes. Every time he gets a mic, I love it when he's just like up in a box with Hobbs, just yelling. Oh man, you're right. Ricky Starks has absolutely everything. Love that. Dude.
Yeah, I'm that Ricky Starks push is going to happen at some point. I'm going to absolutely be here for it. I liked how this was almost a World War III thing, like they used to do in WCW with the
Yes, that's what it reminded me of.
We're almost there. Maybe that's coming. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Brody King did look strong. There's a part of me that's like, well, now we're going to get this filler feud where Brody King is obviously going to lose, right? Like he's not going.
My bad.
I think
Folks,
we're going
Brody King.
to Brody, and then we're going to Malachi versus Moxley. I think is where we might be headed.
Okay,
Which I'm all, because I Malachi Black's work in AEW. Like I love spooky wrestlers, and I just love everything he's done. I can't believe WWE would not let that man talk the way he talks now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The thing is, I mean, all the writers and everything, they get it and they see the talent. Like he had a lot of fans at WWE that wanted to see him succeed. All it takes though is one person to not see it and not let it happen. Like it's for as much shit as creative gets at WWE, there are definitely people there that have the right idea and they know like, oh, hey, we should push this guy or people want to see this guy. But at the end of the day, it's one guy making the decision. So unfortunately, a lot of people like Malachi.
Yeah, who might that be, Dan?
I forget the name. I don't remember.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to Money in the Bank 2022. We can quickly just do pulse checks here. I think the biggest moment here is the women's Money in the Bank. But we got Bianca Belair going over Carmella, retaining her title. Bobby Lashley winning the U.S. title over Theory. I can't get over that his name is just Theory still.
It is the most egregious example of just getting rid of like a person's name, so it's just the thing. And it's the weirdest when it's just the word Theory.
Yeah,
it's got a bad mouthfeel, Theory, when you're talking about like Theory's doing this. Like what are you saying?
Yeah,
I don't
we
like
already
it.
got an Austin, pal. Can't have two Austins. People get confused.
And people are very stupid, you see.
Oh wait,
right,
this wasn't Stone Cold Steve Austin.
No, this is a younger guy. This is a guy.
Okay, because he did look younger, but his name was all. Look,
I can see why
I don't mean to hold up the pot. Yeah,
I think
it was just like if they didn't change his name to William Regal when Steve Regal came out, people would think that Steve Regal and Steve Austin were the same guy. So
same guy.
I don't know. No, William.
I can never keep track
They're
of this
both
stuff.
mans though. I don't know about that. Dan.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't say at the beginning. I'm not Jeff Bakalar. Sorry, everybody.
I'm not going to see you for Jeff's Bizarre Adventure. What?
I know, and it's hard to tell me apart. I get it.
Maybe Giant Bob should institute this policy. Maybe all the Jeffs lose their name.
Yes, exactly.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Jason. Go ahead.
I wanted to shout this match out in particular because it made my son cry. He's a huge Sami Zayn fan. And he was just shouting Zayn, and
He was good in that match.
And he cried at the end of
everything.
He was really fun.
Yeah,
that's so great that your son's a Sami Zayn fan. I feel
love
like
it.
that's a really good sign.
Yeah.
That's a great
yes,
sign, yeah.
Because Theory lost the U.S. title, he got injected into the men's Money in the Bank match, ultimately winning.
Why?
Because reasons, Jeff. Because a guy in a suit said he was going to do it.
Okay.
You can really tell when they're behind someone in this company.
Yeah.
It's that simple. They're just behind Theory.
Yep.
Okay.
They're pushing him to the moon. Rocket strapped to his ass.
When they decide to push someone, they I remember I knew a guy who was a writer during like the Attitude Era going into the Ruthless Aggression era. And I guess early on in the first year or two, Vince told the writers, he said, We push Cena the way we pushed Austin. We push Cena the way we pushed Hogan. We push him to the they absolutely will push him to the moon. You saw it happen with Reigns.
Yeah.
And time will tell if Theory is on that level because Reigns, oh my God, just how many WrestleMania main events and legends that he can beat clean. And
It's all I can remember.
Yeah, and you need the next Reigns, especially with Reigns starting to kind of bring back the schedule a little bit now. We'll see if they go that hard with Theory. It's too early to tell, but
he's
you'll
talented,
know when it's
and
time.
for the record, his match with Lashley, I actually did think was pretty good. I thought it was a good match, but I mean, it's early. It's very, very early. He hasn't even really had a proper feud or anything,
Yeah.
But this is my thing with the WWE. You were talking about it, Dan, earlier, where it's everything's so slick and produced. Things happen on these shows, and I think they're going somewhere. And then the next time I check in, nothing happens with any of it. It's how it always feels to happen with WWE. So my expectation here would be next time I check in, I'm not even going to see Theory. That's my expectation.
When they want to get past something, it's more something Finn Balor falls off the top rope randomly and loses to Reigns, and they never talk about it again, where they just want to shove Finn under the rug.
Yeah.
When they are behind someone, here's the thing: when Vince gets tired of his new toy, you'll know because they just won't be doing it.
Right. Okay.
But Theory, I mean, the fact that Theory shared the ring, we took a stunner from Austin at WrestleMania, that type of, and he's in a angle with Vince. If Vince is ever in an angle with someone, Owens, Owens got to headbutt him and splash him and everything. Theory was Vince's protege. Yeah.
He found Vince's egg,
He found the egg. That was worth $500 billion or something.
Yes. Grub Theory there was a scavenger hunt because Vince McMahon lost a golden egg that was worth millions, if not billions of dollars, and then Theory was the one that found it, and then he became his.
That shit. Nothing will get WWE executives more excited. I was there for 2.5 years. I never heard executives talk about, man, that match was great. Man, can you believe that? But you know how much excitement I heard over, we've got a deal where we're going to have zombies around the ring. It's a cross promotion with Army of the Dead. They're fucking jazzed about that. Oh, we're going to have a Nestle Pure Life Super Soaker segment at SummerSlam. Oh, God, Red Notice is going to pay us way too much money to have a fucking egg on the show. That's the shit they love. That is the audience. And that's the thing. All these people are I can't believe they don't listen to the audience. The audience clearly wants this or that. They don't give a fuck. The audience is Nestle and Netflix and fucking.
I feel like at any point a SWAT team with WWE logos are going to storm Dan.
Yeah, right. I'm I'm going to read some of these dirt sheets. This is Dan Reichert's name in here. What's going on here?
I've already heard they're not happy, and I'm careful not to say anything that's inside information. I think anybody who watches the program can tell some of the things that I'm saying.
A lot of this can be gleaned. Yeah.
I'm going to hear Dan. I'm going to hear echoes of Dan screaming, "The audience is Nestle" in my head as I go to sleep.
You people on Reddit and Twitter and stuff are not the intended audience for WWE. They want Peacock and brands. That is the audience. A&E.
All right. Let's finish off this card, gents. We had the Usos defeating the Street Profits. Jesus Christ, Montez Ford.
Oh, great match. Yeah.
I need Montez Ford to just. I don't immediately seeing him hold the big boy titles, but I just give him an interim title for now. Just give him one of the mid card ones. Let him cook with that.
Dawkins has really stepped up too. Dawkins is really good. So as much as I want to see Montez get a solo run and stuff, I wouldn't want that to happen at the expense of Dawkins getting Jannetty, because Dawkins is a lot better than Jannetty. He's
put in so much work to make himself a valuable member of that team. That team is the both of them. He was in limbo in NXT for so damn long.
Sasha's hype man way back when she was in NXT.
Yeah,
for a brief minute. Yeah.
But that was a fantastic match. I really love the Usos minus the all the other nasty stuff. Perhaps the biggest moments of the night, we get Liv Morgan winning the women's Money in the Bank against Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Becky Lynch, Lacey Evans, Raquel Rodriguez, and Shotzi. I'm good for Liv.
Yeah.
This is a moment where the company looks like they are behind someone and they're going to strap a rocket to that person, and then Charlotte Flair is going to come in and destroy that rocket.
Just beat the shit out of her.
That's what it feels like. I wish Lacey Evans just had her old gimmick back. Just give her the sassy Southern Belle stuff.
Yeah, even that.
I don't know. I find for different reasons at the moment, Lacey Evans rah American gimmick, a
Does not work.
little tough, we'll say.
Yeah.
But she's a talented wrestler. But yeah, I mean, man, I'll just love seeing Asuka. Like, I think she is one of the greatest wrestlers ever. I love her so much, and I love seeing her back and everything. But
She seems to be having fun all the time, which I
Yes.
really like.
yeah.
Yeah. There were a couple moments that were a little rough in the match, but there's a lot of things going on. And then we eventually got Ronda Rousey defeating Natalya, and Liv Morgan cashing in on Ronda Rousey, crowning her as the new SmackDown Women's Champion.
Yeah.
I'm
There's something
fine.
Liv does that is very endearing, where it's like whenever she comes out for a big match, like she had a main event match against Becky a while ago, and like you can just tell it means so much to her. Like she'll come
Yes.
out and she'll have that very visible like you can tell it's real with her, and I think that's why she's connected with an audience, because you can tell she super gives a shit about these moments. So that's what it makes you root for them. And when something like this happens, it's like, yeah, hell yeah, good for her.
100%.
She's also another wrestler who's been like super, super open with like her struggles with mental health and stuff, and like just always respect the heck out of that.
Yep.
She also owns a farm, which I find very endearing.
She makes soap.
I didn't know she also made soap.
She makes soap.
But that wraps it up for Money in the Bank. I think I can continue just tuning into the WWE during these. They're not pay-per-views anymore. What are they? Premium live events?
Premium
Premium
live
live
events,
events.
PLEs. Yeah.
PLEs.
I started seeing that in emails when I was working. I was like, what the fuck is a PL? Oh, right. Fuck.
All right, just to wrap it up here, gents. We've been running not too long here. I want to ask you guys, and we'll go down the line, starting with Dan. Favorite match from both shows?
Say probably Orange Cassidy versus Osprey for Forbidden Door.
All right, I'm going to ask you to give it a star rating
Oh, we're doing star ratings here.
out of 5.
Okay. I'll give it a 4.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
From Money in the
And then-
Bank, sir.
Usos and Street Profits.
Star rating.
I only give 4s.
Okay, only get 4s. All right.
Yes.
John.
From Forbidden Door, man, that's a tough one. Like I think I actually would give it to Thunder Rosa's match, just because like I very much enjoy that style of match, and it's not a style you see outside Japan very much, and I would give that a 4. And then from Money in the Bank, man, like not a lot of Money in the Bank really did it for me, to be honest with you. I guess I would go for the Theory Lashley match. I'd probably give it a 3.
Okay. All right. Jeff Grubb, noted wrestling enthusiast and expert, new crowned expert.
Yeah, I'm gonna cheat here and say the Blood and Guts match from AEW this past week was really good for me. I'll give that 4. I really liked that. It was entertaining throughout. And then I really liked the Money in the Bank match at Money in the Bank with you know what it was? It was Riddle. I haven't seen Riddle before. I liked he had that little run in the middle.
Riddle's great.
He was just like, okay, he's like, I'm gonna go on this streak where I'm like, I'm just gonna be better than everyone else in this ring for like a minute straight. And I love that kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, he's just gonna go Super Saiyan for a couple seconds and he's gonna knock out everybody, and then it burns out. But I'm like, okay, that's still, for me, that's really good in-ring storytelling that I like. So that really kind of made it work for me. I'll give both of those are probably like the Blood and Guts match 4, and I'll give this one 3.
I love
saw
good old
Riddle
fighting
at
spirit.
I saw Riddle at an Irish house show like 3 years ago, and he had one of the best matches I've ever seen with Will Osprey. And he was just like watching wrestling in the audience afterwards, and I went up to him and I was like, "Oh, hey, great match!" And he was like, "Thanks, bro." And he smelled so strongly of weed.
Oh yeah.
He's what a cool dude. This guy owns. I love Riddle Demo. Thank you.
Jason, sir.
Man, it doesn't happen very often, but I'm right in sync with Dan. Will Osprey and Cassidy, 4 on that, and then the Usos and Street Profits for sure. That was a fantastic match. Also a 4.
Mike.
And yeah, I'm boring. It's those two matches also for me. Although I'll give the Osprey and match I'll give it a 4.25 stars.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I'll give the tag match for Money in the Bank 3.75.
Wow, Mike.
Use the whole scale.
Okay.
Interesting.
I really liked the FTR versus Roppongi Vice and United Empire. I'll give that a good 3 and 3 stars and 3.7 stars. Yes, let's further mess up this formula. Money in the Bank. I might give it to Lashley in Theory. I'd give it a good solid 2.9 stars. But then
2.9.
5 stars for Lashley's posing. Best posing in the biz.
Oh yeah.
They say it
Impeccable.
was better when he just leaned over and showed his ass to the audience when he was with Leo Rush. Hit him with the pose. It's Bobby's favorite pose, just showing his ass.
Man, I miss it so much with Leo Rush just yelling Lashley.
Yeah.
It was great. It was great.
How many times has he retired since then?
6, at least 6
Okay.
times.
Right.
And I think that's legitimately at least 6 times.
Yeah, you're not really exaggerating.
Favorite match from the past year or so, gents. This is open to any promotion. It doesn't even have to be within like. Let's just your favorite match that has really stuck with you recently.
Which one is the one where Sting did hop off the audience and he was like maybe one story up and he just did the little hop off and then just like let his body weight carry him down like a brick. I love that.
That was a weekly show.
Yeah, that's a weekly show.
Yeah.
Okay, it was a pay-per-view a while ago, but whatever. That's my favorite match. Whenever he does
times
that.
now, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, it's fantastic. It might have been the first time he did it because I remember people going crazy about it on Twitter. So yeah, that's my favorite.
This is a tough one, especially with some of the matches AEW has put on, because I really, really love all of Hangman's title run.
Yes.
Yep.
I would say maybe that cage match with the Lucha Bros and the Bucks at All
Ooh,
Out.
that was
damn.
fantastic.
You
That was good.
stole mine. You stole mine. 'Cause that's absolutely it.
That
It was so good.
incredible.
Yeah. Oh, when Penta
They
like
threw the
took
shoe.
the spike shoe for his brother, it was beautiful.
Oh my
like
God.
Shakespeare would be
Yes.
jealous of the emotion from that. Incredible.
Shakespeare would retire in shame at witnessing
Yes.
that
Yeah.
moment.
Shakespeare's nothing but a jobber
Mhm.
compared to the beautiful artistic talents of the Young Bucks.
John, Jason, favorite matches?
Let me open my
Omega,
wrestling match
Hangman.
Excel spreadsheet here.
Oh,
Um,
There was such a slow burn with Hangman, finally getting that title shot. Jesus Christ, that was some emotional shit. Love that a lot.
I gotta say, I'm really partial to the Dark Order. Really love Evil Uno. That fucking promo with the Dark Order and Hangman against Kenny and the Bucks. Jesus Christ! Like you don't have to like a cowboy hat to be a cowboy or something. God, it was so good.
Yeah.
Hey, remember when Minoru Suzuki versus Bryan Danielson was on a YouTube pre-show to Rampage?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What the hell? And it was
It was
What
amazing.
the fuck was that? Yeah.
It's great.
They announced that. I was like, what are we doing? This is amazing. What the fuck kind of promotion is this? But awesome.
Yeah. John, you got a favorite match
okay.
amongst your Excel sheet, sir?
I'm just going to drop 3 matches here. I'm sorry. Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega. I thought it was just like beginning
I
of
was
a new
proud.
era level
I was
wrestling
there
match.
for that.
Oh,
Bonk, my
wow,
wife
that's
was there, and it was our first, actually my second AEW show, her first one, and she took an edible beforehand, and her edible was peaking at like the height of Danielson Omega, and I turned to her, and she was just like, completely jaw down, just in awe of what she was watching.
I think
Meanwhile, I was
CM
there in a
Punk,
lucha mask, trying not to get fired. So
CM Punk versus Kingston is like some of the most emotional shit I
Yeah.
have seen in a really, really long time. And then just to throw a weird one in there, I might mispronounce this. Umatami Hayashita versus Seiryu from Stardom was an absolute banger from the middle of 2021. That is just, if you just want to see two people go to absolute war and cry because they can't beat each other, it's an amazing, amazing match. So yeah,
Yes,
that'd be mine.
I 100% back that pick. John is right. If you have not checked out Stardom, you 100% should check out Stardom. Some of like the best women's wrestling, if not the best wrestling going on over there.
I don't know how, but like wrestling matches between 120-pound Japanese women are so much more brutal than anything else you will see. And the physics of it barely makes sense to me, but oh my God, these women are so great.
Yes.
It's the hatred. It's the hatred that powers
It's
them.
just
Not the
the,
pounds.
That being said, I will 100% let Maki Ito step on me. Anyway,
Whoa.
Jess, sorry. It's too early for that. I realize. Or too late for you, John. I'm sorry.
yeah, I'm
wanna go-
trying to go to bed here, Dan. Or Jack, sorry.
I want to go down the line one more time, folks. Who are you strapping the rocket to? Who's going to be talk of the town 6 months to a year from now?
Wardlow!
Yeah.
Wardlow. Okay. John?
Ricky Starks. Oh, sorry, we're taking turns. I'm just speaking out of line.
I want to see Eddie Kingston get the most brutal, short-lived, unfairly ended title run possible. I want MJF to cheat him out of the belt so fast. Like,
That's good.
I want Eddie. That's my answer. Eddie Kingston. I want him to be mistreated in a lot because I think he'll get so mad. It'll be so good. I just want him to be treated raw. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm trying to set Chris Jericho on fire for like 2 months.
Oh my god, that image. I want to see him succeed. Yeah,
Incredible.
Dan, did you see his new T-shirt? It's just that image. It's just a photo of him.
Beautiful.
That's one of those iconic wrestling images, like all time.
Yep. That's
So
Becky with
good.
the bloody nose. That's
Jason and then Mike.
Wardlow seems like a really obvious choice.
Yes,
I think I got to go with that. Yeah.
Mike.
So not to throw some spice here right at the end of the podcast, but like, what
Please
is
do.
it about Wardlow? He's big and he's
handsome.
strong.
It must be
He's
the
very
finisher is
handsome.
he
Power bombs you
must like the
1,000
Clevelanders.
times.
Yeah.
That's the best
Okay,
finisher ever.
that's a good argument. Okay, yeah.
But he's like Goldberg, but better. He can
Yes.
talk. It seems like he can work better and safer than Goldberg ever could. He's got that look, but like he's also got this cool thing where when he comes out for promos and stuff, he's like sharply dressed and stuff and talks like he's kind of that calm talking, but he will kick your ass when it comes down to it. Like the whole package works in a way I have not seen that character work in a long time.
He's
I
from
think for
Cleveland. I'm
me-
looking at pictures of him. He's from Cleveland. You said, Mike Wardlow.
Yeah.
He does look like Euro trash. Absolutely, I love it. This is
I
fantastic.
think my issue is just like he's just like a cool guy,
Yeah.
and I need more. I need something else. But like I know I'm in like the vast minority on that. Like I know everyone is like all in on Wardlow. I guess we'll see.
Mike, you said Ricky Starks. You sticking with Ricky
Yeah.
Starks?
I am, and maybe it's going to be a little bit longer than 6 months to a year, but I think that is somebody who has been kind of a little bit in the background, but every time he shows up, it's great. I think big things are ahead for Ricky in the future.
Lovely, lovely. Well, folks, that was the Power Bombcast. We talked about the Forbidden Door, Money in the Bank, and a couple extra wrestling stuff. John, Mike, thanks for joining us, gents.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks so much. I usually have to have a separate wrestling section on my own podcast, and everyone gets real mad.
Oh yeah.
Don't worry, just let wrestling keep eking out into every single other video you produce because people love it.
Will do.
People love it. John, Mike, where else can people find you on the internet?
John, you first.
You can just search Super Eyepatch Wolf, and I will be there. And I also host the Let's Fight a Boss video game podcast.
Lovely, lovely. Mike.
I am at gamesbeat.com. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Tolkoto. And Jeff and I, we do our Tuesday, Thursday shows, Last Than 10 Dogs on Tuesdays and Game Mess Decides on Thursdays.
Yes, yes. Who knows when we'll come back with the Power Bombcast? I have no clue. I'm not really that jazzed about SummerSlam, but maybe we'll see. We'll see when
You
the
wanna see
stars
Reigns
align.
Brock Lesnar versus
Lesnar
Roman
again?
Reigns.
Yeah,
They've
for
never
real
done that.
this time.
Oh boy. Oh Jesus Christ. I love both of those individuals.
Yeah.
I could not be less excited to see that again.
It's the sequel to the biggest WrestleMania match of all time.
I also can't believe that I missed John Cena.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. All these people booing Cena and saying Cena sucks and chanting you can't wrestle that guy. You don't realize he might have been the greatest of all time. The
He
whole
is
time.
fantastic.
Yes, yes. He,
Yeah, I think about all my favorite matches from like the 2000s, and I'm like, oh, Cena was in like all of those. Granted, he got a lot of opportunities because he's
Sure.
the top guy, but he almost always delivered.
Yeah.
Man, that Cena Punk match. Oh my God, some of the
Money in the
best.
Bank.
The
Yeah.
Raw one, the Money in the Bank one, the whole U.S. title open challenge run. That
Oh,
dude can do
man.
everything.
Yeah, yeah. Oh God. Well, anyway, that has been the Power Bombcast. Who the heck knows when the Forbidden Door of talking about having a whole podcast about wrestling will be back open? But you can bet your bottom dollar that we'll push it back open. Is this playing? It's not playing. There it is. Okay.
Let us return to parts unknown.
Let's return to
yeah.
Parts Unknown. And
Thanks for
let me
having me,
fade to
guys.
black.